Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Iowa and we're doing some testing. And I've got a lot of things to say. So, with that being said, get you a snack. It's not going to be a super long episode, it's about 16 minutes. So hopefully you guys are ready. But there's some things we need to clear up. First of all, I was not expecting my last Iowa video to go as crazy as it did. Okay? I am well aware of the implications of what comes along with a channel that is now over 30,000 subscribers. But even I was not prepared for just how much feedback I got from the Iowa video. If you guys aren't sure what I'm talking about, it was the Iowa video where I said, is the Iowa broken? Possible fix. Now, in the beginning of that video, I said that there are multiple possible explanations for why I did better with the artillery plotting room off and the main battery mod 3 on. Okay? But I also said that I suspected that there was an issue with the artillery plotting room. But, and I quote, more testing is required. So, the purpose of that video was to A, cause folks to take a look at something that they may not have been paying attention to prior, okay? I love the Iowa. It's my favorite ship in the game, and I play it more than any other ship. It's almost 700 games played in the 4,400 games that I've played. And I've had some issues over the last several months of actually getting consistency out of my Iowa, which has never been an issue in the past. Okay? The biggest issue that I've noticed is that the dispersion with artillery plotting room on doesn't seem like it's better than without artillery plotting. Now, this is all anecdotal. I don't chart everything that I do. Now, if you guys are unsure of what I'm talking about, Tommy Boy 601, you guys know him. We did a video collaboration not too long ago together. Put a fantastic video together. If you guys haven't seen it, go over to his channel. I'll leave a link down in the description below to the exact video. Where he does a Mythbusters episode on the Iowa dispersion and the artillery plotting room specifically. Okay? Love the video. Now, there's some funny comments in the video where everybody says, oh, the dislikes must have been Spartan. No. I don't dislike any videos. Okay? Even if I disagree with them. Alright? So, anyway. The issues that I've been talking about, in particular, weren't necessarily addressed in his video. While he did specifically test the artillery plotting room, and he came to the conclusion that it is working as intended. And, after further testing, I agree that artillery plotting room is not the issue with the Iowa. Okay? But I think I know what it is. And this is something that was mentioned to me by multiple people as well, after the fact. Okay? But would any of this been brought up to me had I not mentioned it? No. So do I regret making the video? No. Do I regret the way that I went about making the video? Yes. The live commentary when I'm already upset and going crazy over party chat, like that is the part that I regret. Not because it shows the real me, like, that I don't have a problem with. You guys know Salty Spartan by now. But, I'm a real guy, okay? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm just a real guy. I don't put on a persona for you guys. I don't try to sugarcoat things. If I think there's an issue and I'm passionate about it, I bring it up for you guys. But at the same time, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. And in this particular case, I am wrong. The issue that I've seen with the Iowa is deeper than the Iowa. And so therefore it doesn't affect just the Iowa. And maybe this is something that you guys can all work and do better with as well. So one of the things that we got to do when we make mistakes and find out that we're wrong, A, is admit that you're wrong, first of all. Because, you know, if you don't, then you're just going to be a miserable person because you're never wrong, but yet somehow you're still constantly wrong.
The ship is on fire.
But you also got to learn from your mistakes, right? And so, what did we learn out of this whole situation? Well, first of all, if I'm going to make a video like I did with the Iowa, I need to make a video where I am talking to you like I am now, in post-commentary, where I have all of my thoughts gathered, where I can point out individual things that happened during the match that I maybe didn't see during the course of the match. Okay? And that will allow a much better video overall to convey the thoughts that I actually want to convey. And which case, the issue with the Iowa, what is it? What is the giant, overwhelming issue with the Iowa since I have somehow found the fountain of youth on the Iowa, right? We've turned back time. We've managed to get the Iowa back to being the Iowa that I kind of remember. Okay? So the issue actually has to do with A, dispersion, and B, other people. Wait, what? You mean the problem isn't with the Iowa in particular? It's with the other people? Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. So, the issue that I feel with the Iowa is a compounding issue of people running permanent camos, which never used to run. Okay, if you remember back in the day, there was very few people running permanent camos with 4.5% dispersion debuffs on them. Okay, now keep in mind, there's also a lot of folks out there, like T-Bull and Hipper and a lot of folks that recommend people use Philip Vian as a extra debuff for dispersion, which I believe, if it is completely maxed out, is another 4.5%. So you have out there some people running a 9% debuff, as we just absolutely smashed that Mogami. A 9% debuff on your dispersion. Okay? So that, I think, is the biggest proponent of why the Iowa does not feel the way we normally think it feels in regular battles. Okay? I think it is a combination of people actually getting smarter with the game. They're not playing smarter. I mean, they're still sitting broadside. And if anything, I think the dispersion debuffs that they put on the ships actually promote people to play dumber overall. And then they don't get punished for it. As I completely screwed the pooch up on this, I wasn't paying attention to which way his guns were facing. And I chose the wrong side of his ship to go to. But anyway, we died in AI versus him. But we had a really good game. Fun fact, that was a game with artillery plotting room off. But it was a lot of close range shots. And if you notice, a lot of that dispersion was almost purely horizontal. Okay? This particular game is with artillery plotting room on. Okay? And these were shot literally back to back. There was one game in between them, and it was a artillery plotting room on, but I got torped early because my cruiser sat in the back and I got rushed by a destroyer, and there's not a whole lot I could do about it. AI is a game of you know they're coming straight at you, and I generally go straight at them in my ships. And when a destroyer pops up at 6 kilometers and starts running at you to torp you, and you don't one-shot him, it ends badly for you in a battleship. But anyway, this match will be with artillery plotting room on, and we're going to have a lot more longer and mid-range shots. But the thing that I want you guys to pay attention to is the dispersion when I take these shots. Okay? It's going to be absolutely godly. Okay? It's actually godly. And this is the Iowa that we know and love. So what changes between AI battles and regular battles? Because let's be real. The AI tends to be better positioned than most players. The AI doesn't generally go broadside, even though we're going to see some broadside because they're actually bow tanking other people, and I'm in a crossfire location like I would be on a map if I have people to shoot at. Okay? And so we're going to take advantage of it, starting with the Cleveland that we already hit for 20k while he was angled slightly, but mostly bow tanking. You saw that dispersion was godly. Look at this dispersion, guys. That's the Iowa that we love. Look at those shells. Beautiful. Didn't get the dev strike because obviously we don't get medals in AI battles. But this has just proven what I said in the last video, which was more testing was needed. We need to find out what is causing everybody to not like the Iowa anymore. And while I thought it was an issue with potentially stacking buffs, I think it's actually an issue with people stacking debuffs against you. Even though you would think, well, if I've got one modification on my ship gives me a minus 11% dispersion total, and the maximum that they can get on their ship is a minus or a plus 9% dispersion, that's still a minus 2% dispersion buff, right? And that's just the one mod. That's not including the Azure Lane Scharnhorst commander, the Andrew Cunningham, with all of the dispersion buffs that you get with the regular dispersion buff. But as we get another shot at a Malfi this time, you can start to see what I'm talking about with the dispersion. The dispersion is absolutely godly. So the only difference that I can think of between AI battles and regular battles is AI is not running camos and is running basic commanders. With, you know, I don't even know if they actually technically have commanders on them, they're just ships. So maybe somebody from the dev team can reach out and let me know about the AI, what their commanders are, if they use like commander skills and whatnot. I don't think that they do, just based on the shots that I'm getting on people, or getting on the AI. But anyway, it brings me back to the issue. So, if a 9% debuff to your dispersion outweighs using an 11% buff to your dispersion, or does the 11% buff outweigh the, 5-second difference in between shots? Let me double check. Well, next time we fire, we'll see exactly what our reload is on our Iowa, because I honestly don't remember right off the top of my head. This should be 30 seconds, I believe.
Our victory is in sight.
Come on. Oh, yeah. I forgot. This is the moment where the Amagi and the Conqueror are running into the center island trying to avoid me, so I don't get any shots for a moment. But we'll keep an eye out for it, because honestly, it may become down to a situation where you look at, is the extra 5 or 6 seconds that you get with the dispersion buff, the artillery plotting room, worth it versus the main battery mod 3? Is it worth it? So main battery mod 3 allows you to reload in roughly 25, 26 seconds, somewhere in there. Whereas with the artillery plotting room, you end up reloading in like 30 to 32 seconds, if I remember correctly. We're about to find out, because I'm about to shoot this Iowa, and we're going to aim up into the guns and superstructure. Well, I say that as he disappears, because this Tashkent doesn't want to spot him. And now, I could use my spotter plane here, but I didn't want to use my spotter plane because I didn't want to conflagle the results. I don't know what else to call it. I didn't want to mess with the results of my testing. My testing was purely based on artillery plotting room versus not having artillery plotting room and having main battery mod 3. Everything else is identical as best I can. Okay? So there we hit it, and you could see, yeah, it's like 30 seconds on the reload. So you're getting an extra salvo every 6 shots, right? If you're firing your guns constantly, if you have or if you have artillery room off, then that means you are getting an extra salvo away every time you pull the trigger for the 6th time. Make sense? And that may make up the difference between having crappier dispersion. And so that's what I think was happening during the testing and the actual games. I wasn't actually getting better dispersion. The other part of it is, a lot of people were pointing out that I'm just a bad shot. I don't think I'm a bad shot, but, you know, I'll let those people, I consider those people better than me who are saying that I'm a bad shot. But I know where I need to aim most of the time. Maybe I don't hit it all the time, especially in clutch situations where you gotta snapshot people. But, either way, I digress. So hopefully this has opened up your guys a little bit, a little more into the Iowa mystery, and hopefully this has shed some light on what we could potentially do to make the Iowa better in the current meta, with everybody running all of the debuffs for your dispersion. Is it worth it? Let me know down in the comments below. Is it worth it to run the artillery plotting room and have that godly dispersion? And I'm using quotation marks because the godly dispersion disappears when you're against regular people most of the time. Or is it better to fire the extra salvo every 6 shots? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And as always, if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.